Am I the asshole for pouring my drink on someone who threw hers in my face first? I went out clubbing last night with my friends. There were 7 of us, 3 guys including me and 4 girls. My girlfriend Hannah was meant to come too, but she was feeling ill. I offered to stay in with her, but she insisted I go out and have a good time. At the club, my friends got talking to a group of women who apparently worked in finance. They were here for some kind of conference and were checking out the local places in their spare time. One of them, Lauren, started trying to chat to me and asked for my number. She was pretty, but I was not interested as I have a girlfriend. I told her this, but she then started asking for pics of Hannah. I showed her and she said that I could do so much better than that. I was very annoyed and told her to leave me alone. Later on, me and my friends were dancing and Lauren and her group came up to us and she started trying to dance with me. I gave her the brush off once again and moved away from her and she gave me a dirty look. A while later, she came back and by that point, she was very drunk. She smirked at me and threw her drink in my face. I was absolutely fuming and in response, I poured my beer on her head. She started crying and ran to the bouncer who got us all kicked out. Everyone then proceeded to have a go at me. I understand that they were annoyed that we got kicked out, but everyone was acting like I was wrong to pour my drink on her. They all saw her splash her drink in my face, but everyone was saying it was nasty to do that to a girl. The ladies in our group were talking about how upset they'd be if someone ruined their dress, hair, makeup by doing that. But when I pointed out she did the same to me, everyone said it wasn't the same. Nobody said goodbye to me last night and I made my own way home. I told Hannah what happened and she agrees that I didn't do anything wrong. I tried to explain myself again over the group chat, but everyone has ignored me. How do I sort this out in a mature way? Am I the asshole for not wanting to have kids? When I was 24, I had a baby with Liz. We trucked along for 5 years and then we got divorced. The kid, Jane, was very upset by the whole thing. I never really wanted kids and Jane was a mistake. I realized after we had her exactly how child-free I wanted to be. At first, we basically had 50-50 custody while we got it formally figured out. We just worked around our schedules and while we both worked, she spent time with her grandparents. The problem arose when I realized I was dreading having her over. A lot of the time, we did 10 days each, and I had the time of my life on my 10 days off, and I hated having her with me. She was fine before, but now was showing some really shitty behavior to me specifically. Nothing major, but she was really well behaved before. The divorce was finally about to go through, and our legal obligations toward Jane's decided. I told my lawyer that I wanted no custody, full stop, but would pay full and maximum child support instead. My ex Liz and my parents were not happy about this, but I told them I was moving across the country to a city and this was the only way. It's now 10 years later and I'm exceptionally happy and I'm now married again and my wife doesn't want kids either. My daughter Jane is 14 though and has been contacting me through Facebook and my parents. I haven't been in contact with them much because they chose to keep having a relationship with Jane despite me not wanting us to be involved. My wife therefore found out somehow and now she's mad at me. Jane wants to have a relationship with me but I do not want kids and have made that so clear. I called my ex-wife out on Facebook for allowing my daughter to contact me and for turning my parents against me. But now other family members keep messaging me and telling me to F off. Am I the asshole for deciding I don't want to have kids?
It's come to my attention that many of you don't know the Kevin story. So buckle on in. It's not uncommon as a teacher to have students who are a bit behind the curve in certain aspects, but 99.9% of the time, they are keen on something. They may not understand how to identify a noun or what a theme is, but they'll somehow know how to make a mean plate of nachos. You learn pretty quick not to judge a fish for their tree climbing ability, you know? Well, I thought this was the rule when I was teaching until I met Kevin. Kevin isn't his real name, but it doesn't matter because he can't spell it anyway. Kevin was a student of mine during my last year of teaching. He came to my class with very little to show for his academic past. He had moved a few times and thus was missing a lot of typical test scores that we used to try and ballpark their ability. I thought, oh, that's fine, we'll just do some one-on-one with Kevin. One-on-one with Kevin was like conversing with someone who had forgotten everything in a freak, if not impossible, amnesia accident. There was no evidence that he had learned anything past the 2nd grade. Now he was in 9th grade. Flabbergasted, I figured I needed to get more serious about this. If he was going to be in my class, I needed to know why and how. And this is part 2 of the Kevin story. Go watch my last video if you haven't seen it. I decided to meet with him, his guidance counselor, and his parents, and another teacher to see what was really going on. This is where it all became clear. It was by some incredible fluke that his family had been wiped off the face of the earth years ago. Odds are his entire heritage was based on blind luck and some sort of sick divine intervention that saves his family every time a threat presents itself. Even with my instructional lead, a woman who could barely find a redeeming trait in Balrog, failed to see any reason this kid or his family should be alive today. So here's a list of events that made it abundantly clear that God exists, and he's laughing uncontrollably. Kevin frequently forgot when/where class was. On more than one occasion, I had to retrieve him from another classroom. Kevin ate an entire 24-pack of crayons, puked, and then did it again the next day. This is 9th grade. I have no idea where he got crayons. Part 3 coming soon, it gets better. Part 3 of the Kevin story, and we're finally getting into some of the interesting things. Kevin's dad wrote tuition checks and then mailed them to me. His English teacher. This was a public school. When I give it back to Kevin, voided to give to his dad with a brief note explaining that this is a public school, Kevin got in trouble for trying to spend it at 7-Eleven after school. Kevin was removed from the culinary arts program after leaving a cutting board on the gas stove and starting a fire. Twice. Kevin threw his lunch at the school resource officer and tried to run away. He then ran into a door and tried to say it wasn't him. Kevin stole my phone during class. I called it. It rang. He denied that it was ringing. Not that it wasn't his, but that it was ringing. He tried to do this 3 more times. Kevin called the basketball coach a motherfucking bitch during gym. Basketball tryouts were that afternoon. Kevin tried out. It did not go well. Part 4 coming up. Part 4 of the Kevin story, go check out my other videos. Kevin's mom could never remember which school he went to. She missed several meetings because she drove to other schools, none of which he ever went to. Kevin tased himself in the neck before a football game. Kevin kept a bottle of orange Kool-Aid in his backpack for about 4 months. He thought it would turn into alcohol. He drank it during his homeroom and threw up. Kevin would say the N-word. A lot. Kevin was white. The high school was 84% black. Kevin got beat up. A lot. Kevin stole another student's iPhone and tried to sell it back to them. Kevin didn't understand that his grade was dependent on test quizzes, homeworks, classwork, and participation. Kevin finished his first semester with a 3% average. He tried to bribe me with $11. Kevin spit on a girl and said, "You should get out of those wet clothes." This girl was the Spanish student teacher. Kevin didn't know dogs and cats were different animals. Kevin tried to download on a computer in the library at the circulation desk while he was logged in. Part 5, bitches! Part 5 now. Go check out the other videos. Kevin tried to ask a girl out to prom. He was in 9th grade and we don't have freshman prom. By giving her his phone number and then texting her his address. Kevin got gum in his hair. Constantly. Kevin had several allergies, but neither of his parents nor he could remember what they were. They were very concerned that the holiday party, it's high school, we don't have those, would have peanuts. When we finally got a doctor's note, he was allergic to amoxicillin. Kevin and his parents took a trip to Nassau. How the fuck did they even get airline tickets and forgot all their luggage at home? I didn't believe him when he told me until I talked to his mom, who told me first thing when I saw her at the bi-weekly meeting. Kevin's grandfather apparently died in a chainsaw accident. I can only assume God was looking the other way that day.
So I literally escaped death yesterday. So yesterday, me and my boyfriend went to the beach, and a majority of the time we were there, we were swimming in the water, and we would get pretty deep, but the deeper we got, we could feel a current kind of pushing us out further into the lake, like a current, riptide, whatever you call it. So at that point, we decided we were not going to swim anymore. We were not going to go deeper into the water because at that point, we were putting our lives at risk. So we get out of the water and we're just chilling on the sand for a little bit, and then we decide to pack up our stuff and head back to the car. And as we're walking to the car, we see at least 20 emergency vehicles start going into the beach. I'm talking firefighters, ambulances, police, even the Coast Guard was out there. So me and my boyfriend, being the nosy people we are, we run back to the beach to see what's going on. And in the exact area where me and my boyfriend were swimming, there are rescue teams searching the water for a person that drowned in the exact area that we were swimming in. Apparently some guy was swimming over there and the current took him under and he drowned. If we were in the water for 30 minutes longer, that would have been us. So I literally escaped death. So basically the other week I was at the beach with my boyfriend. We had gotten out of the lake because we felt a current pushing us out to the middle of the lake. And we didn't want to risk our lives, so we got out. And around 30 minutes later, about 20 ambulances pull up, like so many emergency vehicles. And I see people searching the water right where we were swimming. Literally in the exact same place me and my boyfriend were swimming at. Like I'm telling you guys, if we stayed in the water for another 30 minutes, that rescue team would have been looking for one of us. Anyways, I never really knew what happened, like who drowned, did anybody live? And I just found out what happened. So basically this girl was in the same spot me and my boyfriend were swimming, and the current had taken her and she started drowning. Then her boyfriend had jumped into the water, pulled her out of the current, and in the middle of that, he got sucked under, drowned, and died. So this brave ass man risked his life to save his girlfriend, and unfortunately he didn't make it out alive. It like literally makes me want to cry because I feel like that girl's living with so much guilt, but like true love right there. He took his life to save hers. I'm literally so effing mad right now. So my neighbors told my father that I vape, which I don't. I have never picked up one of those devices in my life. I don't find a purpose in doing it or starting it. And even if I did, I would have no way to get any because I don't know anybody that's 21. But basically, I'm sitting in my bathroom doing my hair extension when my dad's like, "You're acting really weird. Are you vaping?" And I'm like, no, like where would you even get that idea? And you know where he got that idea from? My fucking neighbors. I literally don't know why my neighbors just love to freaking make up blatant lies about me. They made a lie that I go up my driveway too fast, and now that I'm vaping. Like, mind your own business, please, because you're about to get me in trouble for stuff I'm not even doing, and it's literally ruining my life. So please and thank you, leave me alone. Go find some other kids to bother and make up lies about because I'm not having it at all. Nope, not me. Oh, nope, not me.